Hi friends, welcome to my channel. In this tutorial we will learn about Angular architecture and building blocks. So let's start with it. Angular application consists of modules, components, template, service, directive, event binding and property binding. So let's see what is modules. In Angular, a module is a mechanism to group components, directives, pipes and services that are related in such a way that can be combined with other modules to create an application. In other ways, you can say it is a logical division of your application. By default, we have one root module which runs the application, and later, as per your application requirement, you can create more modules. Whatever modules we are creating later on are also known as featured modules. Module can share with one another module using import or export. So if you are creating a module and you are using some logics in that, you can also share it with other modules. So this is the module structure in an application. Suppose this is your application. So when your application launches, it starts with root module, also known as the app module. If you see a structure of your application, you can see there is a app module. So it is always started with this app module, then it goes to other modules also. Fine. So it starts with root module, and later on whatever the modules you are creating, that is comes under the root module. So those are called as feature modules. Here you can see there are three modules we are creating. Let's see with a scenario. Suppose you have two modules, one is authentication module and one is payment module. One developer is developing authentication module and you are developing payment module. So how he will divide the module components and division of the task, or you can say the logic. So what he did, he divided the authentication module into three tasks. So what it is: login component, registration component, password reset component. So in the authentication module, he has done three tasks: login, registration and password reset. So these are the logical division of a functionality, you can say, that comes under one module. Simply like that, there is a payment module. In payment module, there are three tasks: online payment, card payment and Bhim UPI. So there are three tasks you have divided which comes under payment module. So this module can share the one single data from one to each other, that is using your shared. So this is how component and module are being connected on a developing of a Angular application. Now let's move to components. A component is a main building block of an Angular 2 application, and an application may have any number of components. We can consider a component a particular view of the application with its own logic and data. That means whatever we see in the application or the app, that comes from the component itself. Every component has a view. The Angular components encapsulates template, data, and the behavior of a view. Angular 2 components consists of a TypeScript class, HTML template, or you can say the view, and a metadata which is called decorator. So how it is connected we will see later when we are creating components in our application. Now let's understand the mechanism of a component. Suppose we have a module and we are using a component, and assume this is a login page, or you can say any form page also you can say. And before that, let me introduce about the injector service. So no need to worry right now, we will discuss it later on our next videos. Just take a brief introduction. Suppose this is a function. This is a function which can be shared by multiple modules. We have different modules, as we discussed just now. There is the authentication module, there is a login module, payment module. So all modules can share only one function that can be done common, or you can say globally, which can be used by multiple modules. So this is a common function. Let's assume that's it. Now this is a module and we have a component and there is a view. So whatever we are doing logical functionalities or operations we will do in the component, when it's completed we will send it to our template. So how it has been connected from the component to the template? Using property binding. Property binding, what it is, we will discuss later chapters. Simply, when we are putting some data in the template and it comes to component file, then on that scenarios we are using event binding. Event binding sends the data from the template to the component. And if you want to manipulate any data with any function on the template or on the view, then you need to use directives. So we will discuss how to develop directive, and we have some predefined directives also, and we can do custom directives also. Those chapters we will cover on directives section. So this is how we are working on component. So just a briefly I'm going to explain you. We are using injector, or you can say services, on the component file functional. Then we are using directives to do any functionality on the template. But the data transfer between the template to the component and component to the template is happen due to property binding and with event binding. So this is how common architecture of this mechanism, or you can say the components mechanism. Later chapter we will discuss how we are going to use this mechanism while developing our application. Thank you.